Hello Internet, I'm from the Internet and my name's Mr. Matt. And this week we're actually looking at something a little bit weird. Well, everything we look at on this channel is actually a little bit weird. But this week it's actually extra specially weird because we're all in lockdown. I'm being forced to endure more children's TV thanks to my lovely daughter. Isn't that wonderful? So now I'm in a sort of fever dream where we're actually going over children's TV and exploring some of the dark realities within it. No, this isn't a cracked video, this is actually just something that I've put together because, well, I'm slightly going mad now. Roll the titles! We begin with a feisty trip to the world of menace to parents and egotistical maniac Peppa Pig. However, the terrifying swine is not our focus today. Our focus is on Mr. Potato, who has to exist in an eternal sense of dread. It's been hinted that some of the residents of Peppa's universe eat lower animals. I say lower animals, the ones without sentience that are pets, such as Tiddles the Tortoise, Goldie the Goldfish, and Mrs. Duck, who by the by has the same naming scheme as many of the other residents but doesn't have the same rights. Shrug. Mr. Potato constantly promotes the eating of fruits and vegetables, a noble cause to be sure. However, there is an unease whenever the concept of eating potatoes comes up, which suggests that a fear for Mr. Potato is that one day, the populace of Peppa's universe will one day go into full-blown tuber frenzy and chip the poor bugger. I mean, look at him. That is a lot of chips you can make from this poor guy, or even some mash. Let's stop thinking about the mash for a second. Stop thinking about the mash, and move on to the fantastic universe of Peter Rabbit. Mr. Todd, the suave fox who hunts Peter and his friends constantly, wants nothing more than to chow down on some delicious rabbit. Or so it seems. If you look at all the chances Mr. Todd has had to actually finish the job, he seems to be a bit of a botcher. He keeps catching Peter and his friends, but instead of just finishing the job, he does the typical villain thing of monologuing and hot-dogging and grandstanding. So why? If Mr. Todd is a wily smart fox who is very capable of getting rabbit stew on the go, why does he stop? Maybe, just maybe, Mr. Todd understands on a deeper level that it is the thrill of the chase, that if he actually did away with Peter and his friends, that he wouldn't be able to have these grand captures and moments of victory. If we look at the rest of Peter Rabbit, there is an economy, there is a functioning shop where other residents purchase goods, so it stands to reason that Mr. Todd buys his food from there, or just ends up ordering it online, rather than going hungry from another failed attempt at catching Peter and his friends. I think that if Mr. Todd were to have it actually carry out the deed, he would ultimately become listless and bored. His joy is in the chase and grandstanding, rather than the pursuit of food. Then again, he might just love banging on about his plans. Hello Kitty is popular and cool, isn't she? Well, actually, if you read the miniature book series, not quite. You see, being a giant occasional gal dressing cat can be a lonely existence. Oh, didn't realise she's a giant? Bloody look at this. That's a regular sized poodle, and she's carrying it around like it's a purse. Anyway, back to the crippling loneliness at hand. Here she is walking with her friends in the forest. Her friends are a bee and a snail. Here she is riding a boat with her family. Her family are a bird. Could it be that the playful fun she shows hides the cold dead reality behind her eyes? So there we have it, some weird darkness within children's television. But then again, there's always been weird darkness within loads of children's television. It's just always been bubbling under the surface. I mean, if you look at the Teletubbies, they ended up trapping a baby into a sun. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. Remember social distancing. And hopefully see you again at some point. Maybe. Look at the universe of Peppa Pig. Some creatures end up being able to end up owning houses, vehicles, having jobs, or multiple jobs in the case of Miss Rabbit, who, if you think about it, isn't being paid enough to end up doing the jobs that she does, because otherwise why would she need so many jobs? It's actually really distressing when you think about it. Poor Miss Rabbit, she ends up being a bus driver, ends up running the boats, ends up working in the shops. She ends up working on the trains. It's impossible for her to end up working all of these jobs, but somehow she does it. Miss Rabbit truly is one of the greatest characters within Peppa Pig.